day-to-day consistency and your drive and love for the game, where did that come from, and where did you get that consistent drive on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, sir. So that comes from my why I play the game. I play the game just to take care of my family. I've seen the game change the lives of a lot of people and their family. So every day I just think about them and just go as hard as I can.
How did that intensify when you're going from Delaware to now at North Carolina playing for Coach Belichick?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't say it intensified. I've always been that kid that's always doing extra and just always going as hard as I can go.
Grant?
Yeah, hey, Mark. Just thinking of your decision to transfer to North Carolina. I know Delaware moved up to the FBS level, but what
Yes,
led
sir.
you to come to North Carolina, and why did you take that transfer?
Yes, sir. So I wanted to play at the Power 4 level, give myself the best opportunity. I go into the league, and who better than Coach Belichick to develop you and get you to that point.
And I have another question too. So you game against Richmond, where you had 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. How much did that game kind of give you the confidence to say, hey, I can do this?
I carry that confidence every day. You know, starting in spring and camp, just always been getting back there and always getting pressure on the quarterback. So I would just say the secondary did a good job covering their receivers, and the D-line and the front maintained the rush lanes and just gave me an opportunity to get a sack.
Andrew? Could you take us through the Bagel shop story?
Bagels?
You met the player from Delaware and kind of got you involved.
Yeah, so the head coach at Delaware, his friend who played with him at Delaware, came to the bagel shop and he saw me working there, and he looked me up and down. He's like, "What are you doing here? Like, why are you making bagels?" I was like, "I'm in high school. Like, I'm just trying to make some money." And he was like, "Are you gonna play college football? Are you committed anywhere?" And I was like, "No." And at that point, I was either thinking about going JUCO or just working, just getting a job. And so yeah, he told me he would set me up, and he stuck with his word, and he got me down to Delaware.
The clarify something.
Yes, sir.
In high school, was that maybe
I wasn't injured. I was just played at a really small division and just wasn't really recruited out of high school.
okay? So you show up to Delaware and you start passing out of 5. Did every kind of bagel related nicknames for you?
I'm sorry, say that
Any
again?
kind of bagel related nicknames or friend nicknames?
No,
This guy comes from outside, not the normal path, and they stand out. Maybe get a nickname that's attached to us.
Yeah, they tried, but I wasn't going for that. Yeah,
How long did they try?
just a week, 2 weeks.
And then you kind of made them realize that
Yeah,
it's not working.
no.
Let's go to Brian.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of getting to North Carolina? You were committed pretty early, I think, in December after Coach Belichick got here. Did they contact you? Did you contact them? How did that process work?
Yes, sir. So I entered the transfer portal, and then actually Coach Maniaco had texted me and had set up my visit to come here. I came here. He wasn't here, but I had talked to Freddie Kitchens, and we had a good conversation. And when I was on my way to Virginia Tech to go visit there, Coach Belichick called me. We had a great conversation, and really persuaded me to come here.
You never made it to Virginia Tech.
I didn't make it. I didn't make it, but I had UNC in my mind the whole time.
Let's go to Michael.
Michael Turner, WCHO.com. You mentioned you came from a pretty small high school program.
Yes, sir.
You started at Delaware, and now you're here at the Power 4 level playing in the ACC through Bill Belichick. Do you feel that coming from smaller programs in high school and then initially in college, it gives you kind of an extra grit or maybe a chip on your shoulder, a little extra something to prove at this level?
Yeah, I feel like I carry myself with that chip, just the way I go to work and the way I just attack every day and I attack the game.
Hey, Dylan Weisskopf, Target 24/7. You mentioned just now that Belichick called you when you were unready for Virginia Tech. When did you realize it was him? Did you have his number saved, or did you answer? And then what was your reaction to, first of all, talking to him, and second of all, what did he tell you? How did that conversation go?
It was Coach Kitchens who had called me, and he's like, "I'm gonna give the phone to the big man," and
What went through your head at that point?
it was surreal for sure. I remember watching him on television when I was a little kid, so to be on the phone with him was a great experience for me.
And how did the call go? I mean, what was the conversation like?
It was good. He just said he sees the potential in my film, and he thinks if I do the right things once I get here, that I have a good chance of playing at the next level.
Joe.
Pushing base a little bit away from you and your journey, but obviously you guys have the opportunity to present the ball to
Yes, sir. So, yes, ma'am. So I haven't been here as long as the other kids that have known Mitch. I haven't known him for as long as the other kids, but for the short time that I was here and he was here as well, he had a big impact on me. I remember in the weight room one day, I was lifting, and he comes up to me and he just sees like the face that I'm lifting with, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like that." He's like, "Don't make no friends." He was like, "Go earn what's yours," and it stuck with me. Yeah. It was when I first got here. I would say like in January. Yeah. I wouldn't say that I have. No.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. Elkhart, these last couple of games, you guys have shown improvements when it comes to run defense and getting to the quarterback a little bit more. I've seen that in 2 sacks every day. What do you feel like you guys are doing mechanically a little bit better to be a little bit more disruptive from the defensive standpoint?
Obviously, we've played the 2 games before Richmond, so just having that game film and being able to get those corrections down during practice has really helped us just play more disciplined football and make sure that we're making plays that we're supposed to be making and not getting too curious to be our own players.
A couple of guys, I think, and obviously speaking for themselves, but a couple of those guys mentioned, the season opener and saying, they think back to that as a time like, okay, this is to get, to replace them for not doing what we need to do, that can be a result, whatever. Do you guys use the opener of the TCU game at all kind of as an anchoring point to say, this is the lowest it's going to get, we have to, you guys kind of use that as fluid?
No, we don't really talk about that game. Maybe people talk about that like internally to themselves and that fuels them, but as a collective team, we don't really talk about that. We move past it.
Ron?
Melkart, Coach Belichick praised your ability to be taught something and then not really have to go back to it. What's one of those teachable moments you've had with him so far that kind of sticks out in your mind?
A big one that he was on me for was just awareness, just understanding the formation and what they might try to attack me with in the formation. Especially if one example is if there's like a tight end outside, just you got to know that he's coming down to block you and be ready to play it that way.
Did he have to come back to that after saying it the first time?
No, I fixed it.
Anything else from Elkhart? Perfect. Good stuff, Elkhart.
Thank you, guys.
Like, how have you seen you guys sort of gel a little bit? Obviously, you've got some guys down and out, but 3 games in now, the comfort level of gelling with the guys beside you. How's that going?
I think that just comes over time, and as a unit, we just slowly learn how to play off each other and build that trust and accountability, and it kind of just comes with repetition and from practice to outside of practice, but it's getting there for sure.
When you play against a team like TCU and in Charlotte and in Richmond, can you feel it getting better, like when you're in the moment, combo up and whatever you have to do to have that chemistry, can you sort of feel that building there, or is that building in practice more?
I would say it builds as in practice and in game as well, because we have a lot of new guys, and some of us have not played many snaps and some have played a lot, and a lot of us are from different places, and I think just getting the repetition in any situation is really good for all of us.
Andrew?
How has Chad Lindbergh improved over the last few weeks? You guys had a lot of attrition at that position during August, and I don't think he's played a whole lot of center in the past. So how have you seen him kind of come along, being next to him these last 3 years?
One thing about Chad is he's a really hard worker, and he comes to work every day ready to go. And I think that just speaks volumes to Chad as a player. Coming in, he was looked at as a guard, maybe a tackle, and for him to step up and play center, I think that speaks a lot about him as a player.
How about communication with him, but also you guys up front? We talked to Freddie Kitchens back in August, and he said with this offensive line, the center makes all the calls, but this group, all of you guys are making the calls. It's sort of 10 eyes saying the same thing. How's that kind of going? How's Chad been, how's he learned that part as well?
So even in the beginning, Chad has always been very vocal. So it was pretty easy, to get along with Chad and understand what's going on. But I think it helps when everybody makes a call, because then all 5 are on the same page.
If I could ask one more to his question about the chemistry, Tommy's question about the chemistry. People talk about chemistry with offense a lot all the time. Does it truly begin with communication before anything
Yeah, no doubt. I think it starts with the communication, because if the right guard knows something and the left guard doesn't know what's going on, I mean, you're not going to have a pretty good play. So I think communication is what it's really all about. That's where it starts at, because it gets us all going in the right direction.
Brian?
Hey, Brian Murphy with WRL. When you have a running back run for 148 yards, obviously the offensive line is a big part of that. Doesn't necessarily get the credit, but when you see a running back do that, what kind of pride do you take in that? And what is it about Juju that made it possible for him to have that big of a game?
I think it always feels good as a unit to see players shine, especially as an O-lineman, because you think about all the long and hard days that it took to, get that kind of moment, and we're just happy for anybody to go out there and rush for that.
What about him specifically? Coach Belichick described him as sort of a one-cut runner, puts his foot in the ground and goes. I know on the 50-yard run, Belichick said it was blocked for a couple yards, and he was able to break a couple tackles and go for 50.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting to watch. Juju's a really good back, and I think a lot of the fans appreciate him and the way he runs the ball, and I know as an O-lineman we definitely appreciate that.
Hey, Daniel, Michael Coe, WCHL, ChapelBro.com. This program has a lot of players who transferred from Group of 5 or FCS schools. Belfort, Delaware, you can Troy, Cristo, Lindbergh, of course, Gio from South Alabama. Do you feel like those types of players have a little bit more of an edge to them coming from smaller school than trying to prove yourself on the power conference stage?
I don't know if I can really speak for everybody else, but I know for me, I definitely came in with an edge. I wanted to prove something in my career coming from a smaller school. I knew that I wanted to show the coaches that I could compete at this level and be a good player for this team.
The last Sun Belt offensive lineman who came here was Will Lane, and he was pretty good. He was an All-American. Did he reach out to you when you committed? Have you heard from him at all?
I spoke to him when he was up here training for the draft, and I talked to him a little bit. Nothing too crazy other than a good greeting, how's everything going. But I think that he's a great player. He does a lot of good things, and it wouldn't be bad to see him around more. Help him, or he could help us. Get more technique or whatever.
Brian?
Hey, Daniel, Rob Baxley, Fayetteville Observer. How have you seen Gio develop and grow since the TCU game, and what is his demeanor been like in huddle and then in practice and games in that regard since that moment?
I think the way that I view it is just execution. So I think not even Gio, just everybody. I think that we've all gotten better at execution, and I think we've all locked in and dialed in more to be better at our job and to help Gio more as an O-line, tight ends, receivers getting open more, us blocking longer. So I think it was more of a group thing as aside from an individual thing.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. I actually was going to ask you a little bit about Gio too, particularly when it comes to blocking for him. Charlotte seemed like he's able to kind of get on the move a little bit more. You guys move the pocket for him, things like that. What's it been like blocking for him? Being a more mobile type quarterback and kind of, I guess, utilizing the pocket to his strengths.
It's something I'm not used to. Where I came from, our quarterback wasn't very mobile. So for me as a player, it was something I had to get used to. But I think that that's a good strength that we have on our team, and I think whenever we get to use it, it's always a good thing.
I know obviously execution is the bottom line of blocking, but is there, I guess, what are some of the schematic differences when it comes to accounting for somebody's mobility, knowing that there's something that can kind of improv and things like that?
Yeah, I think the defense has to go about their game plan a little differently when you got a guy like Gio, because you got to respect his arm and his legs. So I think that kind of puts more of a strain on the defense.
Hey, Daniel, Grant Sasher of Tar Heels on SI. Speaking of the communication and everything, you guys are going to be going up to the UCF, playing at the Bounce House, which has been known as one of the rowdiest and loudest stadiums around college football. How do you guys make sure the calls and checks up front don't get lost in that type of environment?
I think that we're going to practice some environments like that at practice, loud music, just to get used to that kind of environment. So we're going to go out there today and rep it today and be good at it.
And last one for Shelby here.
Shelby's also the music leader. I asked just your teammate about this beforehand, but obviously you guys have had moments with the game ball and with case of happening with the win with over Richmond. I'm curious, just in your short time here, what he submit to you, and if you have any kind of moments that you kind of describe that relationship and how
Yeah, I think Mitch is an amazing human. And one thing that's really special about Mitch is he doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care if you're a travel guy, non-travel guy. He always is there for you if you need anything. And I think that really speaks for his character as a man. And it made me so happy seeing him get that game ball. It meant a lot to me and the players, and I just couldn't be more happy for Mitch.
Good stuff. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yep.